I'm Dr. Dave Pena, and today we're going to make dog food. Hi, so as I'm recording this today, there isn't a supply chain issue with meat in Los Angeles or in California. And as time progresses, that may change. So if that's the case and you have a meat shortage or anything like that, I would suggest that it's probably best to buy straight dog food, because you can buy that in bulk and there's nobody's hoarding that yet, at least not for consumption. So that's one thing. And the second thing is that even if there is a supply issue with your meat, there's a lot of parts to your meat which you will not eat. Even if you do use those pieces to make stock, you could still give your dog things that would have discarded anyways, and add that to their diet if you wanted to build your own sort of dog food for your dog. But we'll see how this goes in time, if this is useful or not. I think it is. We save a lot of trash space, like in the actual trash can, by giving our dog the parts of the chicken we're not eating. And she takes something about this size and makes it to something about this size, and she does it outside, and I don't have to throw that into a trash can that 100 other people are throwing trash into. So for us, it's a benefit. Maybe for you, it's not as much, but in this video, I'm going to show you how to make a very simple 3-ingredient dog food that you could use as a base to make other safe dog foods, and you don't have to worry about salmonella poisoning either yourself or your loved ones. As you'll see, when your dog eats this food, or any food really, they kind of get it everywhere. And plus, they're probably rubbing their butt on everything. So you're not going to have to worry so much about that, at least not from your dog, not from the food you're giving them. And two, if they have an allergic reaction to any part of a 3-ingredient dog food, you know what the 3 ingredients are, so you could switch them out slowly and figure out what your dog likes best and change things up if you want to change things up. So there's only a few simple rules, but with that, I will start the video. Okay, so last video I mentioned that we end up using a lot of our own food for Marie, like as a way to use more parts of stuff that we normally don't eat. And one of the things I talked about was using chicken. And you can buy a whole chicken at the grocery store if you can still go, or have it delivered to your house like we have. And usually they're cheaper by the pound, but I'm not sure if it works out to be cheaper after you factor in the fact that you're getting a lot of weight that you don't need. A lot of times they have a heart in here and other organs. Just want to take that out. Dogs love that. You can feed that to your dog. Just cook it up a little bit. All right. So I'm going to show you how to take this apart. You probably already know how to do that, and I'm probably not the best person to do this, but we're making dog food, and so I'm just giving you a base of like what you can give your dog in terms of chicken bones for it to be basically absolutely safe and not really have to worry about you poisoning yourself or your family members with salmonella or anything like that. So the first thing we want to do is remove your wings and your thighs, and you just find the joint and then you cut around it. And same thing here. Every muscle has a connective tissue that connects it to other muscles. It's called fascia. It's this thin film, and you could separate that with your hand. Anyway, there's a joint right here, and you just pop it open, You don't have to be super chef-like about this. It's a lot of this. I mean, unless you like eating, you have something to do with these wingtips, then it's gonna end up in your stock anyways. So I'll just show you how I go about it. And you could use this for this stuff you're gonna eat, right? You're gonna save this. I mean, unless you don't like thighs and you don't eat thighs, then you could give it to your dog too. But I just store this up. I mean, because right now you can't really, beggars can't be choosers. So I save this for myself. There's a oyster right here. Don't worry about that. All this stuff, all this meat and bone and everything is gonna end up being given to Marie. I like to make a stock that I'll have too, or I'll add to my food, and save these pieces of meat for myself and Alyssa. And we cook with it. You don't have to be great. There's a little piece of meat on the, I think it's called the tenderloin, that I kind of mangled there a little bit. And then here's the bone on the other side. Straight down. Pull it across. Straight down. Another breast and carcass. Perfect. Simple as that. Now, normally I think people like to put onions and carrots and celery in their stocks, and you should not do that. All you're gonna do, carcass in there. Wash off my hands real quick. I don't want to contaminate everything. Okay. And get some carrots. Buy these baby carrots in these bags because it's easier to get delivered. Carrots. And this is for flavoring. Also, it adds some amount of fiber, some more mass to the end product, the dog food that you get. What this also does when you make a stock to the bones is that instead of them being brittle, they are, turn it on, they fall apart, so you don't get shards. And I think that's important, because even if you were to take these raw bones and smash them, you're gonna get shards, and that's not a problem once the dog has got it into its stomach, and stomach acid just dissolves the bone. But before that, like in their esophagus, in their mouth, and on their way to their stomach, you can get damage. Like those pointy bones can hurt them, and it's not common, but it does happen. If you ask a vet if they've ever seen a dog that had like a chicken bone stuck in their GI tract, they'll tell you yes. So I used to save these, but we haven't been using them. You could make more stock with them, but throw them in there. So what you're trying to do is all of these pieces of meat They have, you know, the cartilage and marrow and skin. And when you boil them down, you start to break down those proteins. And they go into solution and they form a gelatin. It's the same gelatin that, you know, is used to make Jello. Except in Jello, it's extracted and dried. Just fill the sucker up with water. And all the boiling that's going to happen is going to put protein and calcium and different vitamins that the animal, the chicken had, into suspension in that gelatin. And that's going to make a very rich food source for your dog. I'd say it's healthy, but as well as, you know, good stuff that's in here, there's also stuff that maybe you don't want too much of. There's nothing that's good or bad. These things are, in terms of foods, just don't eat one thing all the time and even things out, and that's the best really you can do. Now we need some salt. So here are the rules for making your dog food. When you make your dog food, you can put whatever you want in it. When you make your stock, that is. Don't put onions. Don't put garlic. Don't put pepper. Dogs can tolerate garlic. Onions, not so much. Don't use wine. Don't use anything with grapes. Just keep it simple. The simpler, the better. Carrots are okay. Other peppers are okay, like red peppers and things like that. I wouldn't don't worry too much about it. You're gonna let this go for, I don't know, can you see that? Yeah. You can let this go for at least 3 to 4 hours. Okay, it's been about 8 hours. This is the stock. I let it cool down a little bit right here. And just gonna take it, strain it, put it in here, and so this is the solids that are, you can use as dog food, and the bones themselves, they're, you know, they don't shard. Well, they won't shard, see? They just fall apart. So they're significantly safer than even raw bones. If you're trying to keep the bones from sharding. So there you have it. Once it finishes draining, you store this guy in a container, store this guy in another container, and that's it. I'll show you guys what Marie thinks of it. Hey, Marie. Marie. Come here. Marie. Come here. Yeah. You want this? Try this. You want this? So I wanted to show you how you might go about using this stuff. So I've been using the gelatin too. And what do we have? This guy. Gee. So, because I'm going to add carbs, besides the carbs that are already there. try to do this one-handed. So you can just get through this bone very easily without it turning into shards. That's that. And then some stock. And you just want to have some rice. You don't want most of the calories to be from rice. And you're just trying to get the gelatin to go into liquid form to melt it. Swish it around, and we're good. So one of the reasons people don't like having a common food with a dog is that if your dog is food aggressive, and you have the same food source, well, your dog can become food aggressive with you because you're now competing with your dog for food. There we go. It's good enough for a human to eat. She's always hesitant. It's hot. It's hot. Yeah. So look careful. She likes it. Let's see. See when she eats those bones. She ate it right up. No problem. No shards, no nothing. Let's see, Marie. Yep, right through the bone. No shards. Here's a... Yeah, she goes straight through it. That's not bone, it's meat. There you go. That's a good base for dog food. You don't want to have your carbohydrate proportion too high, but if you have to extend calories, you're like a dog like Marie needs about 800 calories, and you're trying to extend your dog food, well, that's really the only way. But the good thing about this is 3 ingredients. You saw everything that went into it. If they're allergic to something or they have an issue with something, you can remove it or change it or do it whatever you want, but the basic concept is the same. And that's it, guys, a 3-ingredient dog food. If you have your own recipe for dog food, leave that in the comments below. If you have additions that you might add to my recipe, leave that in the comments. Also, if you have problems with the way that I made this dog food and you have ideological issues with giving dogs human food, leave that comment also. Also, quick update, Alyssa and I and Marie are all doing okay. Besides me having terminal man boobs from COVID-19, I think everything's going to be fine. So in case you're wondering, you guys be safe out there. I'll talk to you later.